back for episode 3 with JP Gosh Law Talks, or John Goshgarian. And we are discussing some actual cases that have been very challenging cases, but very beneficial for some of the clients that John has been able to serve, him and his law firm. Of course, he has served hundreds of clients, but these 3 particular cases really stand out. And this next case we're going to talk about is someone who had a situation with mold. And I know that for us South Floridians, this is a constant issue because of the subtropical climate, the moisture, and all of us can be susceptible to mold and toxic environments. So, John, can you tell us a little bit about the background of this case, of course, without violating any privacy issues?
Yeah, sure.
And why you took it on? Like, what's the context of this case? What happened? And
yeah, it was a unique case, and it involved what started to be a singular resident of a large community establishment here in South Florida, where they started to notice something was wrong with the air and the smell of their particular unit here in the Fort Lauderdale area. And as you mentioned, because of our humidity and our climate here and water, there is a lot of cases everybody's aware of that, your homes could develop mold if it's not properly kept at the appropriate standards with air conditioning and so forth and ventilation. So in any event, I came in my office, began to investigate this matter, and one thing led to another where other residents of this complex were having similar problems. And we were introduced to another neighbor, and then that neighbor said, oh, another neighbor, and et cetera, et cetera. By the time we came to fully investigate the case prior to commencing lawsuit, we almost had a couple dozen or a few dozen homeowners or renters at this facility who were experiencing similar phenomenon in their homes. And the interesting part of it is this was a brand new building, supposed to be constructed and with the appropriate environmental precautions and standards, and they were environmental friendly, et cetera. So the case started off as a class action, but eventually it was kind of narrowed down and didn't fit that category. But we represented a couple dozen or more residents of this facility, and it was we call it toxic tort or mold case. So these are type of cases where individuals suffer 2 sets of damages: property damages, because all their clothes and furniture and things are ruined because of the exposure to mold. And the other part is personal injury, because they themselves are breathing in this, what would be a toxic type substance. Some of these variants of molds can be very toxic to people. They have difficulty breathing and respiratory functions, and it can cause a lot of problems. So because we represented so many in my firm in the beginning, I had a long-time term colleague who had some background in biology, and we partnered up, our firm and another firm. And because it was such a large case going against such large entities, we went ahead and filed suit on their behalf. And not only against the owner of the premises, because they're the ones who are obligated to keep it in proper shape and maintain it, the common areas, but also the ones who constructed the place. So it turned into a hybrid of construction litigation and toxic tort, where we were ultimately able to show, we believe, and build a case that there were some defects in the construction and also their HVAC systems there that were bringing the air in and out of the facility that was causing the problem. And through that process and through a lot of expense long term, we were ultimately able to resolve the case favorably and over an excess of of seven figures, an amount in totality for all these residents to get them back their property and have them their places fixed or have appropriate housing thereafter. So that's one of the unique cases. But I would caution those people who do have claims about that. You know, the insurance carriers have um, gotten smart, so to speak. So they exclude now mold and such coverage under some policies here. So
Oh, wow.
if anybody has such a claim, we would be glad to review their policy and see if there is potential coverages under those circumstances to see if we can assist.
Wow. I mean, how do they end up excluding mold? I mean, wouldn't homeowners be responsible? And wouldn't that be, kind of
They still have the responsibility, but what happened was, thanks to attorneys, I guess, and these claims, and maybe after a lot of storms and so forth, you know, attorneys represent their clients vigorously, and insurance companies were having to pay out some of the money under the policy, sometimes a good amount. So the insurance carriers, rather than being exposed to these types of litigations, um, they exclude under their policies, or at least limit the amount that you recover for mold type cases. But there's certain ways to get around those exclusions. There may be other areas of the policy that are worth examining and that could provide coverage as well.
okay. Wow. Well, thank you. John, I know those people were very grateful to you and your law firm and your team and I mean, when it comes to legal matters, I mean, it's just not easy for people. And if someone needs your help, how should they reach out to you? Through social
Well,
media or through phone or?
sure, they're always welcome to call at 954-843-9503. Please feel free to visit my firm's webpage at jpgoshlaw.com, and all the information is there for you to either send me an email at jp@jpgoshlaw.com, and you can make an appointment. We provide free consultation for our clients, initial evaluation of the case, and
Okay.
be always glad to assist.
Now, my half Armenianness, like you, always tears up your name. Now, I want to call you Goshgarian, but really the proper way to say it is Goshgarian. Is that how you prefer?
Yeah, Goshgarian.
Garian, air. Okay,
Goshgarian.
Goshgarian. Okay.
So
I like to call you Goshgarian.
that's okay. That's how, yeah, some Armenians say it. But you have the accent.
So Goshgarian. Okay. Well, guys, if you call him and you say, hi, Mr. Goshgarian, he's going to be very happy. But if you call him Goshgarian, he's not going to be mad at you either.
No.
He's a really easygoing guy. Loves to play golf. South Florida native. Went to His father and uncle passed.
Thomas.
Yeah, St. Thomas. But your father went to
That's right.
Yeah, and so he's a local guy, and he's invested in the community, guys, and I actually met him through a club. It was, I want to say the Optimist. It wasn't the Optimist. It was the
Was it the
club that you're
Kiwanis
part of.
Club?
Yeah, Kiwanis. So just a great guy, easygoing, and has a great ear. And that's what you need in a lawyer, guys, is someone who will just listen and get all the facts and then make an assessment. So thank you, John, for having this small mini talks, educational conversations. And I'm looking forward to the next one. And as we give people education, ideas that can help them and empower them, and hopefully help them prevent some problems too. So I appreciate it.